Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to Peterisms. Okay, I'm really excited about today and tomorrow's videos that I'm gonna make for you because they're both about my mother's writing. And I feel like it's something that I can do to kind of give back to her. You know, she always wanted to have a book published. I found when she passed away an entire book that she wrote. I'm gonna be talking about that today. And I also found all of her journals that she had written from the time that she was 18 until the time that she passed away. She kept constant journals. And I remember when I saw them and I pulled them out from the closet, I had a very good friend of mine with me, and I was literally overwhelmed. I mean, it's boxes of journals. And I just kind of I set him on the bed and I kind of looked at him and I said, this is too much. And my friend looked at me and she said, this is the greatest gift that any parent could give to their child. You have every thought, everything that went through her entire mind, you know, like everything. That's amazing. And, you know, I see it that way today, and I think removed from the situation, I feel very honored to have that. And, you know, really, I just pick pieces out from time to time, and I pick out a random journal, and I just kind of like skim through it while I'm, you know, laying around or whatever. But at the time, it was overwhelming, and I just really couldn't see what a gift it was. Like I said, one of the things I found in there was that my mother had written an entire book. And today's blog that I'm going to read for you and tomorrow's are both about that. And I had really kind of had this intention on the blog that I was writing at the time to focus a lot of attention on my mother's book. And that never happened. And I was actually going to turn the book into another book. And I've said at times in my vlog channel, if you guys watch my vlogs, if you're interested, the link is below at Peter Vlogs. But anyway, I had said in there that I was going to, you know, like write this book called Pretty Drinker about my mother's recovery and my recovery because my mother got sober 6 months after I did. But, you know, life happens and things change. And so I kind of like to just go back and remember this moment. So the post that I'm going to read to you first is called Change. And here's a picture of my mother sitting, you can't really see her, sitting on the rocks in Lake Michigan in Evanston near Northwestern campus where she lived at the time. My mother died 4 years ago at the age of 64. I was the sole heir of her fortune, which if you follow my writing, you know by now, is the sum of over 40 years of journals, pictures, and an entire completed book entitled Dear Mick, or Waiting on a Friend, Thoughts on Life and Love. The book is told through letters she wrote to Mick Jagger through the years. Upon finding the journals, I was completely overwhelmed, especially since in the last year I have found many secrets of her life, begging the question, how well do we really know even our closest friends and family members? A simple post-it note dated August 16th, 1996, explains the purpose of her journals. Peter, I take for granted sometimes that I can pick up the telephone and call you anytime I want. I hate calling people long distance because it validates the space in between. As for calling you, if it's when you're gone and I leave you a long message, especially if it pertains to a beautiful snow or old movie, you get very angry. I think of things to tell you every day, but afraid I will cause anger and combustion of the answering machine. Therefore, my journals. Allow them someday to serve as a telephone call, not long distance though, because as my son, you will forever be in my heart every second of whatever we find defines eternity. Mama Mutra. That was how she signed every letter to me. I have spent the last year consolidating these journals with hundreds of scraps of paper littering her basement with jotted little notes, such as the spirit of man is cruel if he forgets the wonder of being a child and experiencing Santa Claus for the first time. I will never know what occasions inspired her to write some of these notes or thoughts, but hopefully by weaving together the journals and thoughts together into a book, readers will be able to learn a secret she unearthed only at the very end through her own writings. She wrote, the human experience, especially woman's, is lonely and alone, independent from others' needs, but undefinable and definitely unexplainable to any man. But of course, as they are quick to tell you, their experience is independent from definition too, probably true. But I still think Eve made a grave mistake for the rest of us. Then why do we need people? Ah, because the memories are 10 times worth the experience itself. I have retitled her book, Press Conference, Thoughts on Life and Love, a reference to my mother's years in therapy, which in person she advocated, but in journal secretly unveiled. Therapy is a waste of my time. No real-life questions are answered. It is all just a press conference of my actions. In the end, in the next few weeks, as I finalize construction of the book, I will be posting segments for my readers to enjoy. By spending hours upon hours sitting in my dark basement late at night reading these journals, I have learned a very important lesson, maybe the most important lesson. Life is but a mystery, and we are on borrowed time as it is. And this is a poem that she wrote upon the separation of my father, and it's called To My Only True Love. The apartments on Fall Creek and the one near 52nd where we came and went on weekends are the same. The old drab rooms and yours are still there, perhaps occupied by other lovers now, and someone sits on my old balcony with champagne and Robert Frost. The rooms and balconies are still the same, but we have changed. No more of the winning smiles, your happy whistling as you exit from a small blue car with a bottle of scotch in your hand and a hope for an evening in your heart. The hasty song or listening, the happy stare of love, the young heart leaping in the dark room, and no more the wild young man who talked too quickly and too loud of love and life, ideals he wished to give away. Seldom the morning sun catches you lying in bed late anymore. Seldom the birds in Holcomb Gardens or any grass see you stretched out upon their leaves. I pace unfamiliar streets now, attempting new solutions to old problems, and the answers seldom come. But there was a time in the fall and winter of the year when our problems seemed small, money and things were nothing, and wine, poems, and nights together, and the streets in Indianapolis were our whole world. Sometimes I'm sorry for feelings once known. It doesn't justify the years you spend remembering. I was always shy about loving you. But I am happy still that even for a moment you were thrilled in my direction and dreamed of me in the daytime. For maybe 6 months of love is worth the lifetime you spend looking, and White Castles, and wine and vistas in Brown County, and knowing you love me was enough. I love you guys. I will see you tomorrow.